The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
My name's Kyle Bowen, and I'm American. And I just found out that Brock Boeser is one of the best 5-on-5 players in the game of ice hockey. All right? My name's Kyle Bowen, and I approve this message.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy hump day and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks Raider with a Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day and sometimes twice a day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. They're doing the most for sports fans across the world. And for our show, if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Make sure you go subscribe or like this video on YouTube and on the podcast side. Go follow us or leave a 5-star review because we're not here without you. But we're also not here without the sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Man, oh man, lots of things happening in America last night, but most importantly, the Vancouver Canucks getting a 5-1 win over the Anaheim Ducks, and a couple of Americans looking pretty good for the Canucks last night, including Quinn Hughes and Brock Boeser. Now, with Brock Boeser, big year for the guy, contract year, and he could be playing in the Four Nations Cup, although if you look at the roster projections out there, most projections have him off the roster. We're here to tell you why that is a huge mistake. This guy, again, one of the best American hockey players on the planet. Hell, one of the best hockey players on the planet. Should Brock Boeser be on Team USA? Who would he be knocking off the roster? And oh, by the way, is Quinn Hughes going to win the Hart Trophy? All that and more coming up. Before we get into it, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle Bowen. When is Billy Ray Bowen for Halloween once, man? The memories. How you doing, brother?
Billy Ray Bowen. On one time, Flex Bowen. All the time, Kyle Bowen. And like I said, I'm American. And I found out a couple weeks ago, and I held this knowledge, okay, to myself. Not really. I just read it off Sportsnet. And I found out that when Brock Boeser's on the ice, the Canucks have outscored their opponents 134-58 at 5-on-5 since the start of 2023. All right? His 69.79%. I don't know how to read this stat, but he's one of the best 5-on-5 players in the league, okay? I don't know how to read these fancy data stats and whatnot, but the eye test proved it as well, okay? He's so good. He's so good all the time. I sent out this tweet yesterday. I said, Sherwood, Garland, Quinn Hughes, 1,000 steps ahead of every other Canucks skater this season. And that's somewhat of a lie, okay? I would sprinkle in Philip Hronik in that little spiel, but I would definitely put Brock Boeser in that spiel too, okay? He doesn't play at that crazy pace. He doesn't play with all that tenacity, but this guy's intelligence is through the roofs and his effort level. Second to none on the team. A contract year, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 games. Those stats don't stand out, but again, it's the little thing. It's the programming for playoff hockey. We saw him do it last year. I just feel as if he's the easy choice. Yes, an easy choice for Team USA because he's a player that you want in a best-on-best tournament where every game matters. Because to that guy, and you see it this year, and you saw it again last year. 5-on-5, every shift matters to Brock Boeser. You win with guys like this on your team, and man, we are super blessed to have him in America. I think they'd be dumb, all right? Straight up. They'd be a brass full of American dumbasses if they didn't pick Brock Boeser to play on their team.
I think Brock Boeser actually suffers a little bit because he plays with JT Miller. I think JT Miller gets a lot of credit for how good Brock Boeser is and all the fancy stats and underlying data. I mean, Kyle, we talked about it time and time again last season, right? Every dayers know. JT Miller has been one of the best two-way centers in hockey, going up against the team's best players on a nightly basis. But who's been on his wing the entire time while he's been doing that? It's been Brock Boeser. And again, I don't think he really gets credit for being this defensive stalwart, right? But his game really has morphed, and he is now, to me, like again, one of the best two-way players in hockey. You're never going to get credit for that because I think just the idea around Brock Boeser that he's just a sniper. Maybe some casual fans think he's maybe just a one-dimensional sniper, but he's so much more than that. And he's, again, blossomed into this incredibly well-rounded player. Now, Kyle, if he's going to make Team USA, I think the big question is, who's he knocking off based on who's projected it? And let me just read the United States forwards projection. This is one of the latest articles out. This was on NHL.com. This is the 13 forwards they had on the team. They had Cole Caulfield, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Jay Gensel, Jack Hughes, Clayton Keller, Chris Kreider, Dylan Larkin, Austin Matthews, JT Miller, Jason Robertson, and the Kachuk brothers. If he's going to make this team, he's probably knocking off one of those guys. Who is it?
Damn. That's tough, dude. Okay. Straight up, this sounds crazy. Not that crazy. When I really think about it, though. But it's either got to be one of Clayton Keller or Cole Caulfield. Right? Do you need both those guys on a best-on-best team? You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. And again, I think a big reason why Brock Boeser's not on all these lists is because if you look at the box score, he could be a 40-goal guy, could be a 30-goal guy, he's a 60, 70-point guy, right? That's the thing, and it's not the most attractive number when you compare it to like so many of the American stars out there. But these people in the East, right? They're not watching. They're not watching the games. They're not doing it. They're not noticing the effort level. Okay, they're not paying attention to these stats. And this is the stat that I read out earlier. Okay, and this stat came out on October 19th. So the stat may vary, but I think it just might have actually increased. But maybe Trevor can explain what that 69.79 thing means. But he's just so smart. He's so available all the time throughout every department on the ice, whether it be the defensive zone, the offensive zone, or the neutral zone. He's so good. You win by margins in the best on best tournaments, and this guy allows you to win in the margins. And here's the thing, Trevor. Real talk. Last time I checked, I got a Canadian passport, and here I am saying that, Brock Boeser has to play for America. They got to get the best team out there, okay? If they're doing it right, they got to beat Team Canada. Dude, I just want Brock Boeser ultimately to be rewarded for, the life that he's lived and some of the ups and downs he's had in recent history. And it would just be like a pleasant thing to give this hockey dude this opportunity. But all in all, he's just one of the best players in hockey. Can you explain what that stat means, though? Like, again, there's his 69.79 on goal ice percentage for what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so if you look at the stat, it's basically just some grade 2 math, buddy. Nothing too hard. But what they're saying is that, of that 134 plus 58, there's, what is that? I can't do math either, man. 192 goals that have been scored while Brock Boeser's been on the ice. 134 of them have been for the Vancouver Canucks. So therefore 69. Hey man, if you want me to explain 69 to you, I'm happy to do it at any time, buddy. But that's what it means, is that, again, about 70% of the goals right now have been scored with Brock Boeser on the ice for the Vancouver Canucks.
That's crazy. Again, like that doesn't scream his elite two-way ability. I don't know what does. And he's not getting lucky because he's on the ice with Quinn Hughes-Lott or JT Miller. Like, I'm telling you, if you watch the film, he's doing all the right things. AKA, he's never making mistakes. And it's not to say that Clayton Keller, who's really good, I actually really like Clayton Keller, and Cole Caulfield, changing his number to 13, having such an exceptional year, those things matter. But I'm just looking at assembling your best roster in like do or die situations. And we saw it last year in the playoffs where having Brock Boeser's two-way ability at the end of games is so important. And also having his game-breaking ability is so important. Like, he's turning himself into somewhat of an outlier. And I don't want to compare him to Mark Stone because he's not Mark Stone, but bro, if I had to rate his two-way ability out of 100 based on his last 100 games, I would literally give him like an 87 or an 88. He's good.
Yeah.
He's just strong everywhere, man. He doesn't make any mistakes. He's making the right plays along the board. He's so strong too. So hard to knock off the puck. Oh yeah, he can snipe a couple pucks here and there. He can make some nice plays. He can be good on the power play. It's to me, in a best on best tournament, Brock Boeser on your third or fourth line can still get the job done.
Yeah, 100%. But again, like, this is the tough thing, is that USA, I mean, maybe it's sad to say as a Canadian, but they have the most stacked group, I think, in hockey. And you could talk about how Canada's got the bigger game breakers, right, with McDavid and McKinnon. But I mean, what is Canada? The Edmonton Oilers, and Team USA is the Florida Panthers, right? Like, they just got better depth than Canada. at almost every position. And
Mhm.
again, of those guys listed, I mean, like you talk about taking Cole Caulfield off, he's got 9 goals this season, right? Chris Kreider's like the guy to me that obviously stands out, but A, he plays left wing, and B, he's got 7 goals in 11 games to start this season. I think
Mhm.
Clayton Keller is another one on the top of my mind. Dylan Larkin, I think, is replaceable too, but if you take a guy like that off the team, then there's only 4 centers on the roster with Matthews, Miller, Hughes, and Eichel. I think maybe Jason Robertson is a guy that could be knocked off. That's a guy who has 100 points, right? So, I mean, Brock Boeser, I think his chemistry with JT Miller matters a bit too. The fact that he's such a well-rounded player matters, but I look at Brock Boeser as probably like a 12, 13 forward on this team. And that's nothing against Brock Boeser, just that the USA is so damn good. Now, I will throw out
Dude.
one stat to you quickly here. There's only Brock Boeser has 11 points in 11 games so far this season. Yeah. He has got 11 points in 11 games.
Your mic cut out. Your mic cut out.
There's only a handful of players who have more points per game so far this season among Americans. It's Casey Middlestat, Tage Thompson, Brady Tkachuk, Matt Boldy, Jack Eichel, and Kyle Connor. And half of those guys aren't even on the roster projections, right? In Middlestat and Thompson and Boldy. So, again, lots of competition for Team USA, but Brock Boeser, man, oh man, he's just looking like one of the best players in the NHL right now and certainly deserves some consideration here.
Again, I'm Canadian, born in Burnaby, living in Surrey. Been here my whole life. One of my greatest hockey moments is watching 2010 and being so in love with that moment. And here I am just, wishing that America makes the smart call and that's make their roster better by putting Brock Boeser on this team. And yo, bro, we didn't even talk about this and we're 12 minutes into this conversation. I know we haven't seen it completely this year from JT Miller, but we saw it for a large stretch of games last year. And it was Miller's ability to be a two-way center. I wonder if Team USA, again, I hope they're doing their due diligence and sending like the East over here to watch the games and ultimately are showcased to, again, Brock Boeser's two-way ability. And I wonder if they look at Miller and Boeser as somewhat of a shutdown type of combo. If how much offense is on that roster, if they just go to those two and they literally ask them to play big boy hockey, lock it down, and help us win in the margins. And I think if that's their only task, I mean, it might be hard for JT Miller to simmer down and listen to that type of a game plan. But if that can happen, then yeah, there's a bit of a tool set there for Team USA to just, again, rely on 2 guys who have really good chemistry, who have been playing together for a very long time in a short window to showcase their chemistry and give Team USA some really, really strong minutes.
Let's leave it up to the Canuck fans. Okay, what do you think? Is Brock Boeser making Team USA? And if so, which USA star is getting knocked off the roster? Leave a comment here on the YouTube Live or connect with us wherever you listen to podcasts, baby. Coming up on the other side, I do want to talk a bit more about Quinn Hughes and his case for the Hart Trophy. Could Quinn Hughes become the first defenseman in 24 years to win the Hart Trophy?
Whoa.
I certainly think that's the case. Let's talk about it on the other side after we showed our friends over at PrizePicks. You know the deal, baby. If you're playing daily fantasy sports, you got to go check out PrizePicks, okay? And man, oh man, they are the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Just go bet on Quinn Hughes, baby, and go make yourself some money. La, 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 la. PrizePicks, they made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Man, oh man, PrizePicks, they aren't only just a place for daily fantasy sports, but they're hooking you up with some free moolah, baby. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, they offer weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups, okay? And eat a taco while you're doing it, man. Who doesn't love eating a taco? Oh, baby.
Oh.
Go download that PrizePick app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's time to run your game.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, and it's also us being American. Here we are trying to make America stronger on a day like today. Straight up, Trevor, man. We may get kicked out of the country. Straight up. You may want to call your wife. I may want to call my parents. Something may be going on, okay? Everyone is listening. Speaking of which, you are watching and listening as well. Hey, thanks, Jimmy, for the $5. Okay, this guy's saying the duck a la orange tasted pretty good last night. I don't know if that's an Anaheim Ducks thing or a Donald Trump type of joke. I'm not sure.
No, duck a la orange is like it's a meal. It's a way you cook duck.
Oh, I only had
Yeah.
duck curry before, man. That's all I had.
One day, bro, I got to make you meatloaf and duck a la orange.
Duck a la orange. Okay, and then Jimmy also said this, and this is what we've been touching on the whole time, and why we might get kicked out of the country again. Okay, Jimmy is saying here are two things about Brock Boeser not being on Team USA that he likes. It gives Canada a better chance at winning, and it might make him more affordable when it's time for him to resign. Right, if he doesn't have that ability to showcase all his talents to the national stage in the middle of the year, maybe we save like $500,000. Because again, Brock Boeser is really, really, really good at hockey.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I'm still thinking about this Team USA thing. And here, let me just rip through the projected defensemen on the Team USA roster. And I want you to tell me who you think Quinn Hughes is going to play with, okay? Aside from Quinn Hughes, again, the obvious lock. Come on, man. And in fact, he's already been named to the team in terms of the initial rally where they named a couple guys.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Adam Fox, Brock Faber, John Carlson, Jacob Slavin, and Zach Werenski. Is there a guy there that stands out to you in terms of who should play with Quinn Hughes?
Damn. Can you say those names again? I need to just process and like do some visualization. Say them one more time. I'm gonna pick one.
All right. I'm gonna say them and I'm gonna tell you what I think. Okay. So you got Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Brock Faber, John Carlson, Adam Fox, Jacob Slavin, and Zach Werenski. Now, I mean, here's how I think Team USA should do it.
Jacob Slavin.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I was going like this, and maybe I'm thinking a little bit more righty-lefty, but I was thinking Quinn Hughes and McAvoy is kind of your top pair, both left-right. Then go Faber and Fox on the second pair, and then the third pair of Jacob Slavin and Zach Werenski. I mean, damn, that's a damn good defense, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. Team USA is better than hockey, man. What the hell happened?
And bro, McAvoy and Hughes would kill it too. Sorry, I didn't know what right-handedness Slavin was. Okay, my bad, hockey nerd. Okay, you got the family over there, and you know what hand every man uses on this planet. Okay, to hold his stick. Trevor, you need a life. You need a life, bro. You need to get it together. Go to therapy. Anyways, McAvoy and Quinn Hughes would shut down. What would they shut down? Crosby and McKinnon or McDavid and whoever? That's a crazy pairing. That's an ideal pairing, to be honest, because Charlie McAvoy is like a lot better than Philip Hronek.
Yeah, 100%. But it's saying something, right? Philip Hronek's pretty damn good himself. Again, he's kind of morphed into this defensive defenseman alongside Quinn Hughes, and which is crazy because Quinn Hughes doesn't necessarily need the help defensively, but man, oh man, it helps that he has such a great partner. Now, Kyle, I think it's going to be a big year for Quinn Hughes, man. I mean, not only is this guy going to win the Stanley Cup in the Conn Smythe, but he could become the first defenseman in 24 years to win the Hart Trophy. And again, the last NHL defenseman to win the Hart Trophy was way back in 2000 when Chris Pronger won the Hart. Big old 6'6" wrench of steel, Chris Pronger, man. Quinn Hughes is a bit of a different hockey player than that, but I know we're early into the season, and you know some people. I tweeted this out last night. The top average game score. Shout out to our friend over at Hockey Stat Cards. You know they take into account the possession stats, your goals, assists, blocks, all that stuff. And Quinn Hughes, he stands out as the best player in the NHL so far this season. Now, again, it's going to take because there's such a points bias. He's going to have to get around 90 points again. But just how solid he is defensively, and the fact that we're in an era where I think. The analytics and the possession metrics are more widely accepted. Kyle, call me crazy, but, what are the odds that Quinn Hughes can actually pull this off and win a Hart Trophy?
Pretty good. I mean, it's not a stretch to say that he'll still get 90 points. I mean, he might be warming up when it comes to piling up the real points. He didn't do so in the first 11 games. Again, that being said, he had a lot of chances to do so. It just wasn't going his way. But we've seen Quinn do it before, go on like 10-game stretches where he picks up like 21 points. It's easy for him. But, again, you touched on the whole defensive side as well. And look at this stat from Jimmy Honeywell again. Okay, this guy should produce the show. He's talking about how in 21 minutes of ice time with Quinn Hughes on the ice, the Ducks only had 3 shots. Pretty impressive. And I know it's just the Anaheim Ducks and they suck. But it seems as if Quinn Hughes has been operating at a level where in 99.9% of his shifts all season long, he's been dominating. Like, he's rarely making mistakes. He's rarely getting caught. I mean, nobody's perfect, but he's almost there. And Trevor, the Vancouver Canucks are going to get Thatcher Demko back maybe like 7 weeks into their season. They also don't have Elias Pettersson right now. And they're staying afloat. Quinn Hughes averaging, on some games, he's averaging like 10 shot attempts per game. He's having the puck for like 5 minutes a game. This guy's doing a lot. In fact, he's doing the most. But I'll sit here and say it again. I don't give an ish about individual awards in the regular season. I'm just liking the fact that Quinn Hughes has looked like a player that took the playoff result to heart, losing in the second round, getting quote unquote outplayed by Evan Bouchard, just learning the ups and downs of what it takes to play in that type of environment and that type of pace. He took all that in and came back a way better player, which tells me that, bro, this guy seems to be in line to win the Conn Smythe. Like, whenever the Canucks win the cup, it's I guarantee it. Put money on the line right now. He's going to be the one lifting not only just the Stanley Cup, but the Conn Smythe Trophy as well. And man, oh man, like, as Matt Fulcher is saying, I think Quinn is the best overall player we've ever had. The dude's only, how old is this guy? 24?
Yeah.
It's only 24 years old. Is Quinn Hughes going to get better? Of course. Again, he takes things to heart. He learns. He wants to get better. He has 2 NHL brothers with him. One happens to be one of the best players in the league, too. Dude, he's in that environment with Tocchet as well, where the sky's the limit, and I don't know how high that sky is. What a damn good.
I'm just thinking about this, too, right? And by the way, Quinn Hughes now 25 years old, turned 25 in mid-October there. Happy belated to old man Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes, again, look at the playoffs last year. And, the Edmonton Oilers, their stars were all going, and they were going more so than the Canucks stars. And that was the reason really why they won that series. But even then, the Canucks ended up pushing the Oilers to 7 games. Now, when I watch Quinn Hughes play right now, I'm imagining a world where we see this version of Quinn Hughes in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And God, we've talked about it before, and the everydayers know. This guy learned something last season. I mean, he's too smart of a player. He knows how to improve upon his perceived weaknesses. Again, not that he was bad or weak in the playoffs, but it was a more physical game. You saw him getting pushed around a bit more. You don't see that a lot in the regular season, despite the fact that other teams know that they need to target him. But I do think that we're definitely going to see an improved version of Quinn Hughes in the playoffs. And oh man, if he's doing it off the back of a likely NHL MVP case, again, this guy might just be motivated to have the best season in Canucks history. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's know the comments.
That might have been the case last year already.
Yeah.
Like, I know Bure had some great years and Henrik had some great years as well. But I mean, 90 plus points as a defenseman. You can make the easy argument that if Pettersson was better in the second half last year and if the power play was better, this guy's easily getting to 100 points. I know facts matter and you have to be, in tune with what really did happen. But I have no doubt in saying this, that Quinn Hughes already did that. He already had the best season in Canucks history.
Yeah. That's and he's only going to have better ones in the years ahead. All right. Let's have an MVP-like performance on the other side and shout out a Cam Neely, former Canuck of the week. I hope we get some of your comments as well. That coming up. Locked On Canucks. We're wrapping up on the other side after we shouted our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. And for those interested, if you do want to place a few buckaroonies on Quinn Hughes winning the Hart Trophy, right now on FanDuel, the odds are plus 20,000. Holy smokes, man. What's the math on that? I believe that means if you bet $1, you will get $2,000. What? Unbelievable stuff. That might be worth it. Wherever you're placing bets, make sure you go do it on FanDuel. Remember, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bound. That right there is Trevor Beggs. Yo, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you, hit the like button, Watch what it does. Save a life, okay? For real. What? Save a life? That's a little deep, man. It really is. It really is. But hey, here's the thing. You hit the like button, and me and Trevor have a better chance at renewing our Sportsnet Plus subscriptions in January so we can watch our games wherever, even though Sportsnet Plus sucks.
Yeah. It's funny. It's been a lifesaver for me with kids, having to write
Yeah.
post games, do post game shows. I missed some time like running around with kids, so it's been a lifesaver in terms of trying to catch up. I don't really know how I survived without it before, using whatever crack streams, whatever website you want to call it. Yeah, something like that. But it also sucks. Like, come on, 50 minutes of commercials and glitches and pauses, and you got to restart it all the time. It's just like an absolute joke. So,
dude, and they think that I'm like watching the game from like Colombia, the other Colombia. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid, man. It's just do better, okay? Straight up. Anyways, one love to you and you and you and you. Trevor's got a former Canuck of the week. I got some comments I want to read before that, though, because I just want to hockey nerd out with you for a couple minutes, okay? Can I do that? Look at this comment from Brian Daly, okay? I haven't seen you around here. Welcome to the program. He says, I love Quinn Hughes. He knows he's a difference maker. He's taking more shots, and, he's trying to score more goals, trying to generate more offense, trying to generate more tips. He's just taking initiative, and there's sometimes while watching Quinn Hughes, quote unquote, hog the puck, I'm not like, and I'm being light on that statement, okay? But when Quinn Hughes is just circling with the puck, dangling with the puck at the top of the blue line, and then he tries forcing shots, and let's be real, like 60% of them don't go through. They don't go through. But in a time where Pettersson is not taking initiative offensively as a play driver, you need another guy to step up. Like, it can't just be Bescher and Miller as your offensive guys doing it. Like, I just think Hughes has this ability to understand the assignment, and right now, I think he knows they need him to generate offense. Do you think I'm onto something, or am I stupid, or am I dumb?
No, I think. Well, you look at the end of last season, right? The Canucks and into the playoffs were one of the worst teams in terms of generating offense and generating chances. And you even looked at Quinn Hughes' numbers, the amount of shots that he generated individually was way down from where it was earlier in the season. And come on,
and the Canucks offense sucked. And we sucked offensively. It was like a missing attack to our weaponry. Like we weren't using it. It's funny how you brought that up because I totally forgot about that. Like I look at the second half of the season, I'm like, oh yeah, obviously we sucked offensively. Our power play sucked, and Pettersson went to sleep, and the mojo it just trickled down throughout the whole roster. But I think you're onto something. Like Quinn Hughes didn't shoot the puck as much, and I think I might have written about this in the blog, but do you think it was because he was hurt?
Potentially, right? He never came out and outright said it, but he did look like he was favoring maybe something in his hip or his shoulder after taking some huge hits in that Nashville series. I mean, that's why maybe he's a bit of a masochist, right? Kiefer Sherwood became his best friend after Kiefer Sherwood absolutely laid some wood on him.
Yeah, it's always when you get hit with the wood, it's especially like a tough wood, a stiff wood. It's hard to bounce back. All right, it's just different. That pain. What? Begsy, who's the former Canuck of the week?
Yeah, from getting hit with the wood to getting hit with the Rona. Let's shout out to Cam Neely, former Canuck of the week.
I don't wanna say goodbye.
Well, former Abbotsford Canucks head coach Trent Call famously came out and said that the Canucks wrecked his development without naming Jim Benning, but basically naming Jim Benning. And that player is Adam Gaudette. Now, Adam Gaudette has bounced around with a few teams since leaving the Canucks, right? He went to Chicago. He went to Ottawa. Then he went to the Maple Leafs, never played for the Maple Leafs, then went to the Blues organization. Now he's back with the Ottawa Senators. And man, oh man, this guy is tearing it up in a fourth line role, man. Reminding me a bit of Carconi from last year. Never played a game with the Canucks, but all of a sudden ends up in Utah, and he's all of a sudden just like firing in all these goals from a fourth line spot. Now, Adam Gaudette so far this season, 6 goals, 1 assist in 11 games. He's tied for second on the Ottawa Senators in goals with Tim Stützle. Okay, unbelievable stuff. Only Brady Tkachuk has more goals, and he's only got 7. He's only got 1 more than Adam Gaudette so far this season. So, I think we always knew the potential was there with Adam Gaudette, former Hobie Baker winner, but Trent Call hit the nail on the head in that interview from a couple years back. The Canucks rushed him to the NHL, wrecked his development, and I think Adam Gaudette's got a bit cocky at the NHL level. And again, not a perfect player, but He certainly knows how to score, and he's proven that at the AHL. Been one of the top scorers down there for a couple of years now. He's bid his time, and now it's I'm happy to see him back in the NHL here.
I'm happy too, man. Cool dude. Had some swagger. You can tell he loves the game. Yo, sometimes in life, Trevor, you know this too, man. You're 31 and a half years old. I'm 31 and a half years old as well. Sometimes you need like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 chances. You know what I'm saying? To get it right. And then sometimes you need like an old friend to pick you up. And I 100% guarantee that Travis Green has a lot to do with what Adam Gaudette is doing right now. So I don't even view this situation as a loss for the Canucks. I literally just want the best for that dude. And this guy suffered through some weird illness as well, lost a bunch of weight. Again, played on a shitty Canucks organization too, led by one of the worst leaders in sport. And I'm not talking about Bo Horvat. I'm talking about Jim Benning. It's hard, it's hard to be you. And right now he's being himself, and he's having the time of his life. Okay. Speaking of which, look at Jimmy Honeywell sending us another $5. Okay. He's saying this is his favorite Canucks coverage on the internet. Trevor, man, my girl doesn't even give me $5, man. You know what I'm saying? Unreal, man. One love to Jimmy, man. And he's also saying plug your merch. Link in the bio, okay? Read the blog. It's not associated with Locked On Canucks. I've been doing a lot of writing. I've designed like 7 or 8 shirts. I'm going to upload 2 more on Sunday. Hit the link in the bio. And, I don't know, get a couple gifts for Christmas. I got an F the Oilers shirt. I like that one. Oh, there you go.
It's my favorite one right here. If I
the Oilers.
If I wasn't in my office attire, I mean, this is a great shirt to wear on Saturday, especially if you're in the Alberta area.
Ooh, yo, you know what? We'll hype up the shirt on Friday, the day before we play the Oilers, because Connor McDavid's coming back, and you best believe it. You know why he's coming back early. He wants to play the Canucks. He's a hockey nerd himself. I know he beat the Canucks last year, but those games matter. We saw Draisaitl talk about it too. During like the media run in the summer, they asked him like, who do you think your biggest rival is? And he mentioned the Canucks, and I can't wait. And I'll end it on this note, not to put more pressure on the dude, but Elias Pettersson, who's played better yesterday, scored a goal yesterday. It was against the Ducks, an AHL team. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Do the math. It didn't count. What? I meant that. Warm up against the Kangs, play another good game, and come to work on Saturday. Like, that's going to be an expensive ticket. The Canucks have sucked at home ice. Again, rent is $8,000 a month for a 1-room closet. Okay? So they better pick up their ish at home ice, and Pettersson has a lot to do with that on Saturday.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. I mean, Canucks got some big games coming up, right? Thursday against the Kings is a big one. We'll preview that one tomorrow on Locked On Canucks. And of course, the game against the Oilers on Saturday. Man, oh man. And Kyle, I'm excited to do some post-game work for Daily Hive on that one. Hopefully, I'll do the double work. And
you are. We need you on the post-game show, man. Yeah. You came yesterday with your shirt off after a win against the Ducks. Like, again, when I say you need help, I literally mean you need help. Like, how do you know what hand every single skater's use in the NHL? All these sweaty men, like, how do you know what hand they use to put on their stick like that? How did you know Jacob Slavin's hand? You know what I'm saying? You're crazy. Anyways, James Moore, thanks for the $10. Do yourself a favor and Google James Moore, okay? Understand who this man is. We got the best fan base in the world. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit all the links in the bio below. If you want to talk about the Canucks on the toilet, join the Discord. Again, the link's in the bio. Trevor Beggs, do us all a favor, sign us out.
There we go. Hey, shout out to James Moore. James Moore for president? What? Prime Minister? What? Anyways, that was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Shout out to the everydayers, the occasional listeners, the first-time listeners, the new subscribers, and those of you who join us on the live show on YouTube, wherever you're listening. Whenever you're listening, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. We'll definitely get into the Canucks and Kings game. The Canucks playing a real opponent, and last time they played a real opponent, didn't go so well. What's the key to beating the Kings tomorrow night? We'll touch on that. Anything else regarding news and notes regarding your Vancouver Canucks? And of course, we'll give our big emotional takes throughout every episode here on Locked On Canucks. Make sure you go subscribe, like wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. But for now, we got to get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bowen. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace.